Hey everybody, what's up? This is Sweezy's World. Glad you stopped by. Appreciate it. Give me a few moments of your day. I really do. Thank you so much. I like to talk about a few things that interest me, and hopefully at some point they'll interest you. And that's kind of like what I try to do here. Want to try to make it a little bit more, user friendly, so to speak. So today, I just kind of want to maybe start out with a little Bible verse coming from, I guess it's Proverbs 10:27. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. Amen? Okay. Now look, are we not living in some weird times? We are truly living in some weird times. We got the National Guard in D.C. What do you think about that? Do you think that's kind of a good thing? Are they really needed? You support it? Maybe you don't support it? Is it maybe overstepping some bounds a little bit? I don't know. Me personally, I think if they're there temporarily and they're just going to back up the local police, yeah, okay, once in a while. I don't know if, if you just kind of, my own opinion is if you just let the police do their job, then you probably wouldn't need the National Guard. Just saying. But they kind of always tie the hands of local law enforcement and, by their local laws and whatnot. And they're not able to function the way they should. So I say, just unloose their hands, let them do their thing, what they're supposed to do, because they're cops. They know how to do all this stuff. So, all right, then, hey, look. They say that there's going to be a second part of this war in Israel, with Iran. Now, if we all read any kind of biblical prophecy of any kind, we all know that when Israel is completely surrounded, all sides, all fighting against them, which could bring about, some of the close end of times. That's what it's predicted. A few things have to happen. Got to have a temple already built before those things really happen. And we're not there yet. There's a lot of things blocking the path of the new temple being built, but they're ready to build it. So that's one thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind, And another thing, the 666, right? The number of the beast. The AI could very well be, and I'm kind of thinking that at some point here down the road, artificial intelligence is the beast system. That is what the Antichrist will use to control me, you, and everyone else. I mean, that sounds logical to me. And the only thing you can do is prepare for it because you're not going to stop it. And, just talking with all this craziness going on around and, where the weather and everything else, this could be some really, really dark days are coming. It really could be. And, I'm a firm believer that we're at the very beginning of the end of times. Now, how long those end of times last before the actual end of time, I don't know. Nobody knows. But we're getting there. It's quite obvious that we're getting there. The wickedness of this country and hundreds of other little countries that are out there, evil is going to be destroyed by God. At some point, that's just the way it's going to be. But those who are Christian and those who believe and try to follow the way of Jesus, they're going to be persecuted along the way. I mean, it's already foretold. That's in prophecy. So we have to be somewhat prepared for that. You got to know where you stand. You either stand on his side or you don't. It's just that simple. One thing we can never do is take the mark of the beast, ever. But other than that, I'm hoping everybody has a great day. I don't want to drag us on a little bit because I'm sure you've heard a lot of this stuff everywhere. We're preparing for war. America's preparing for war. Everybody's preparing for some kind of possible nuclear war. It just seems to me that we need, to get all of our duckies in a row if our duckies are not in a row. You know what I'm saying? We just got to be prepared. We got to be prepared here more than anything because if it goes any other way, there's not a lot you and I can do about it. But we just have to be prepared mentally for when and if this stuff happens. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later, but that's just me. Uh, you can look at the news and whatnot, see what's going on around the world and stuff, and see how much craziness here in this country is. I mean, we've got one party who's turning communist. That's not a good thing. So, what do, right? You just prepare for it. You know it's coming, prepare for it. All right, then, hey, look, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Until next time, we'll catch you later. All right, so be good.